Audio should be good. Let me just drop the music a little bit. Welcome, everyone. It's been a minute. Went on a bit of a hiatus there. Just been moving to a new place. But we are back. We are back with our regularly scheduled dose of the White Pill Wednesday podcast. Hope everyone's having a great White Pill Wednesday. Thank you, James, for coming on again, as per usual.
Was happy to be here, talking with my bud.
That's right. Yeah, we are out here
talking about global pedophilia.
We did last time too, I think. Or no, I think I did no, we did we do it? I think we covered it.
I don't know. Probably.
We probably covered it. It's hard not to cover it. But yeah, because they had a recent, as I was saying, let me see if I can pull it up. News about Trump restarting the Epstein investigation. Because it's such a weird one, because like Trump ran on the whole promise of like drain the swamp, and that was kind of always the expectation with MAGA. But then the moment that he gets in, it all gets swept under the rug. And you know, the excuse that I heard from like Kash Patel, who's in the FBI, who was on multiple podcasts talking about it, saying, once I get into power, we are going to reveal everything, absolutely everything. And then he gets into power and he's like, I mean, we don't really have anything to release. Everything that's been released is, you know, that's basically it. All that's left is actual footage of these criminal acts, which we're not going to publish,
Which
obviously.
we're not going to, yeah.
Yeah. But then when he went on the Joe Rogan show, he interestingly, him and also Dan Bongino, he is the, what role does Dan Bongino have? I think he's deputy director of the FBI. Yeah, deputy director of the FBI. So he works under Kash Patel. He was a podcast host and also Secret Service agent and also an NYPD officer. So he's got a long storied history. But both of them, him and his boss, basically came out and said, "Don't you think that if we had anything that we would release it? Don't you think that if we had anything, I mean, with my reputation, with my history, don't you think we would have released everything?" It's like, yeah, that's not, but you're not answering the question. You're putting your reputation as a bulwark for the argument, but you're not actually saying anything.
Yeah, but what can you say when your statement is there's nothing else?
Yeah, but how can they make that statement when, like, previous to, you know, the podcast appearances and all that, they were saying, oh yeah, there's got to be records, there's got to be like tens of thousands of like documented proof of whichever capacity, whether it's videos or actual paper records, paper trails, what have you, of this existing. Like they were adamantly talking about this on the podcasts like right before they were getting sworn in. They're like, yeah, this has to be the case. There's absolutely no way that all of this happens and there's no paper trail, there's nothing. Which we're now actually like we're now seeing all these emails that just got
Well,
released,
I was gonna say
right?
it's a moot point now that they just released more emails. Like,
Right? So it's like I like what are we
so you stake your reputation on it, and here we are.
yeah, you guys just straight up lied, you know. And there was a video I saw of Tucker Carlson talking about it. He's like, look, the reason that people care about this is not because you know there's all these like diehard conspiracy theorists and all that. Though there's quite a few that are really into this kind of stuff, but it's because this is a direct example of the elite doing whatever the hell they want and getting away with it, and the people have had enough. They've absolutely had enough. They're just not putting up with it. They are going to call you on your bullshit and say it like it is, which is why so many people care. And then when people say, "Oh, like, well, what does it matter? What does this Epstein thing matter?" It's like, no, it matters. It matters because this is like one of the few ways that we can hold them accountable. And this is like the first, not the first, but this is one of the more major scandals of our lives. You know, because there was the Tim Dillon talked about this scandal where I think it was in the 80s or 90s where a bunch of call boys, like male prostitutes, had a tour of the White House. And a bunch of the investigators that were behind the investigation were um were killed. Yeah, it was called the Franklin scandal. Yeah. It was a child prostitution ring in 1988 in Omaha, Nebraska, when a bunch of prominent Nebraskan political and business figures were accused of involvement in a child sex trafficking ring. And there was proof that they went to the White House, like the victims. That's insane. If that was happening in the 80s, like, God knows what the hell is happening now. Oh yeah,
Yeah, well,
there was one, yeah, private investigator Gary Caradori, hired by the Franklin Committee to investigate the allegations, died along with his 8-year-old son when his plane disintegrated in midair. Okay. Yeah, that's not on the nose. That's nuts. But apparently
yeah.
in the emails there was records of Trump's homosexual activity. See if I can find
Dump.
it. Let's see if we can't find this. I gotta get a silent keyboard. I don't think this coming through the mic is ideal. I gotta get a silent
Lickety
keyboard.
clackety.
I know, I know. I gotta get like a one with the membrane or something.
I remember when you had the razor with the green keys. God, that shit was loud.
Oh yeah, that one was loud even for me.
That's why I
But
got
yeah,
the orange keys. They're not completely silent. You still get like the mechanical click, but
mm.
they're quieter.
But yeah, Trump's name was mentioned 1,500 times in the emails.
That's kind of a lot.
It's kind of a lot.
But okay.
20,000 documents. Oh, there's no documents. There's no investigation. 20,000. Okay. All right. Yeah, the most significant claim from the emails is that Epstein wrote Trump knew about the girls and that Trump had asked Ghislaine Maxwell to stop. In a 2019 email to author Michael Wolff, Epstein stated, of course, he knew about the girls and he asked Ghislaine to stop. Documents also reference Virginia, I don't know how to pronounce that, Guifra, one of Epstein's most prominent accusers who was recruited while working at the spa at Trump's Mar-a-Lago club in Palm Beach. However, Gwiffer stated before her death that she only met Trump once. Oh, she died. That he was not among those who abused her and that she didn't believe Trump knew about Epstein's misconduct with underage girls. Yeah, I don't know what to make of it because, like, I don't like. Are they really going to go forward with an investigation now? Trump announced it, sure, but like, I mean, how far
I
is it
don't
going to
think
go?
I don't think the publicity is there anymore. I don't think people give enough of a shit.
I mean, this
Again,
is
this is one of those instances where it can be easily swept under the rug because at the end of the day, I'm having a hard time feeding myself or my family. Like,
this is very true. But if anything, that animosity could help feed into that because, like, well, we're having a hard time feeding ourselves because these people do whatever the hell they want to do, and part of this is the
no,
sexual fuckery that they get up to.
I don't think people are gonna make that jump. I was literally watching a fucking a news clip today of this whole buy Canada thing, right?
By
Everybody's
Canada?
like
Oh, by Canadian.
buy Canadian, right?
Elbows up, elbows up.
Yeah. Nice budget, by the way. Sacrifices incoming.
Yeah,
Um, no, but they were talking to these people about buying Canadian, and people are becoming completely dismissive of it. They're like, no, if I find something cheaper and it happens to be American, I don't care.
of course.
Like these wide view like global issues pale in comparison to the fact that I'm stressed about my finances.
Yeah,
Like, so I don't think people are going to come to that connection personally, and they're going to say, "Oh well, I'm poor because Trump went to an island and may or may not have allegedly had sexual contact with minors or something." Like, people aren't going to make that connection. They're not going to riot in the streets over something like this, or even create enough of um, a hubbub online to stir any motion. I think this was the perfect time to release those 20,000 pages because nobody could give a flying fuck.
yeah. I mean, I
Like,
don't, I
I, I
don't.
hadn't
Yeah,
even I hadn't even heard of the 20,000 pages until you told me,
yeah. I
because I've,
don't.
I've got
Yeah,
other shit to do. Like, I
yeah,
got to work.
yeah. I don't know if it's gonna be enough to like to be the straw that breaks the camel's back. That'll certainly take on a different form, but I think it's certainly just it kind of adds to that sense of disillusionment that people have, like as you said, where just rich people getting away with whatever the hell they want to do, um, and they just control certain aspects of our lives, and there's really not much we can do about that. Which is like that's a fact of life. We were talking about that during our last like trip there, where it's just one of those facts of life that you kind of come into understanding as you grow older that like if you belong to a certain income bracket, there are things that you can do that people below your bracket are not able to do, and all these injustices and everything that happens, it's it's kind of like a play that they put on or like a circus that they put on, but realistically like none of these people are going to jail. Like how many people went to jail for the 2008 financial crash? You know, how many people actually suffered those consequences, or for what happened during COVID, or how about the Palisades, the fires in California? How about the Hawaii fires?
Mm.
Um, you know, all these different things. There's no doesn't seem to be any kind of accountability for it, and it's getting to like a kind of a breaking point. I mean, there was that report that they released, right, about the I think it was the RCMP that released it like a year or so ago, saying that if Canada keeps on this path, people are going to become so disillusioned with their government, and food is going to be so hard to access that they're going to start hunting, like just to eat.
Mm.
What was that report?
Well, while you look this up, just going back to what you said earlier about kind of the differences in that those financial brackets, is people don't see the world the same way depending on where you fall into a certain financial class. And I'd say even now there are even bigger discrepancies within the middle class, because that's why we're seeing, and I saw this as well through like a lot of the friggin' news broadcasts you see, is like the left wing media, like CTV, for example, which is where I get most of the occurring information about what's going on. Um, they will interview older people specifically, and and broadcast those interviews over the air because they align with what they're trying to sell, essentially. Because these people don't see the world the way we do at this point. Like, they think they're middle class because they worked for 50 years in a certain trade or job or whatever, and now they have a house, now they're on retirement. But it's like you don't see the world the same way anymore at that point because you lived in a completely different timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, food banks are at a stupid high, and immediately after, let me just bring up my notes on this.
You got
Oh,
notes.
it was immediately after that buying Canadian story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where people are waning off the whole um buying exclusively Canadian thing, especially now with the growing season ending in Canada. Where do you think your bananas come from?
Hamilton,
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Sudbury.
For sure. Fucking Timmins, why not?
Yeah.
Like, but immediately after
Iqaluit.
that story, they had a whole bit about the Salvation Army. Like, me watching that it's amazing because I'm sitting here going, yeah, no, it's fucking hard out here, man. It's tough right now. And then immediately after they're like, donate.
Donate what?
Donate what?
Donate
Donate
what?
to me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
What do you mean donate? Donate, I can't donate shit. And then they have, again, all of these older retired people who are running the Salvation Army kettlebells right now. They're having them say like, "Oh yeah, no, I could be homeless, and if I was homeless, then I would like somebody to help me." And I'm like, "Did you just miss the part where you just said you could be homeless?" Like, I get there's a certain amount of selflessness within whatever community you're involved in, but god damn, you don't have the wherewithal to see that right now you find yourself in a position where if something went bad, you could be without a home, without a roof over your head. But then again, I don't know his situation, and the way that he said it, I don't even think that would be a real thing. The old man looked like he was 89, and it's like you're not going to go homeless. You're I don't think that's going to happen. Especially not if you have time to go and donate volunteer for the Salvation Army.
Well, man, I heard a story of some senior citizens out east that are living in their cars because they can't make payments.
Oh no, I'm not saying it can't happen.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I'm just saying if you're donating your time to volunteering at the Salvation Army, I don't think you're in dire straits.
No, certainly not. And this report that I found here shows in 2024, a secret RCMP report titled Whole of Government 5-Year Trends for Canada warned that Canada may descend into civil unrest once citizens realize the hopelessness of their economic situation. The report, designated as special operational information and heavily redacted, was obtained through an access to information request by law professor Matt Malone, and it predicted that the situation will probably deteriorate further in the next 5 years due to climate change and global recession. It specifically warned that many Canadians under 35 are unlikely to ever to be able to buy a place to live and that economic forecasts for the next 5 years are bleak. The report cautioned that law enforcement should expect continuing social and political polarization fueled by misinformation campaigns and increasing mistrust for all democratic institutions. Which sounds about right, but the part that strikes me here is when it says that uh, once citizens realize the hopelessness of their economic situation. because I've come across people that
Holy shit.
like I've come across people that like they'll just say certain things, and I'm like, oh, like you literally like you lack basic awareness of just how bad the situation is, whether it's with the encampments downtown in Toronto or not even just downtown Toronto. I mean, hell, anywhere. When I went to Windsor a couple months back in the spring there, the first thing that I saw when I got off the train was a homeless encampment. And I'm talking an encampment. Like there's like tents that are basically right beside each other, and there's signs on the posts around the area that say, "Oh, go to this place," and the cops legally can't they can't kick you out because of the laws. And there was recently even in Toronto, I think his name is Chris Moisey. He's a council member who voted against and spoke out against a measure that a councillor basically said, "Look, um, these encampments are going to happen, but at the least they should be like 200 meters away from any school, hospital, what have you." And he voted against it because he's got this, I don't know, liberal party line that he's towing for some reason. Even though he's a city councilor, like I don't know what you're gonna do with that. You're gonna run to be an MP for the Liberal Party. I don't understand what you're trying to do there. But he argued against it. It's like, why would you argue against that? All these families came to this counselor and said, look, we can't even take our kids to the park anymore. And the guy just, I don't know. I guess he just must live in a neighborhood where he doesn't see any of that, and he's just so out of touch. So to bring it back to the original point of people, like once they realize just how bad the situation is, they'll revolt. Meaning that right now there's such a huge emphasis on like not accepting reality
Mm.
whatsoever, like completely just rejecting reality to the point where people are like stumbling over themselves to be like, no, 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 things are actually not that bad. Things are actually pretty good. Things are pretty great. Um, like when what was it? I'm trying to think. There was a recent appearance that I think it was Carney. Yeah, like he went to the Great Cup there, and the entire audience just booed him. The entire audience, like just straight up booed him
Damn.
completely. Did you see that?
That makes me wish I'd watched the Grey Cup.
Oh, I know I missed it too. But yeah, let me
I
see.
don't give a shit. I the only thing I'm happy about is I heard that Trevor Harris won himself a Grey Cup with Saskatchewan. Good for him. He's a hell
Here,
of a quarterback.
let me pull this up here.
Mr. Prime Minister, would you do us the honor? Tails has been called.
That was loud.
Mm.
That was loud. Um, which yeah, like that doesn't surprise me. That doesn't surprise me at all. All these people are so out of touch that they don't realize like just how bad it's gonna be. Like they keep pushing for all these policies and all this money that they're forking over this $80 billion deficit. I mean, they had to redefine what counts as capital
The word
investment.
deficit?
No, no.
Like
Well, that was last year. That was the last one.
Oh yeah,
They
my bad.
redefined. No, it wasn't deficit. It was recession. They had to redefine recession because
Mm.
recession meant that you had two. I think it was two down quarters. But now they redefined it, and
They're just
then
gonna redefine it until cannibalism, I guess.
yeah, once again to the point of this rejection of reality. I mean, I guess they're buying time. Which actually brings me to my next point. I've also heard this thought where people are saying that there's a good chunk of politics that is operating with the assumption that once AI comes online, we're going to reach such an age of abundance that scarcity is no longer going to be a problem. So the goal is just to get us as close to that line as possible of like civil
So we're just
unrest, but we're
gambling.
still, well, yeah, like they're gambling on the fact that AI is going to be so good and so revolutionary that all of this, like none of this is going to matter anymore, and food scarcity is going to become a thing of the past, and all the stuff. But here's the problem with that. There was somebody made a chart.
Here's the problem with that. You're gambling with humanity's future.
Yes,
Like
fundamentally, yes.
that sounds insane to me. That's like saying um like I literally thought you were going along the same thought pattern as like, oh, well, none of this is going to matter because in 2030 Jesus is going to be resurrected, and like what?
Why is my shift
Like what?
key?
In 2032 God is going to save us all. So this won't even matter anymore.
Well, because here's the problem with the AI economy. From what little I understand, it's a bunch of companies just reinvesting into each other. So they show like on the bottom line on the ledger, there's actually a lot of money in the market, but because they just keep shuffling it around, it's essentially a bubble, and eventually it's gonna pop, unless AI gets us to the promised land.
Yeah, I don't like putting my faith in shit. Let's just put that out there. Like in promises and beliefs and hopes that AI is going to become. Yeah, I don't like that thought. I mean, it may very well happen, but that doesn't mean I like sitting here
Oh, here it is.
scraping for food, working my fingers to the bone, and hoping that one day AI will evolve to be better and will save me.
I think this is it. Where Bloomberg they wrote an article talking. Oh my god, this dark mode. Let me see if I can find it. Is this not the article? Because here's the basic premise. So Nvidia is providing all the chips and all the tech to make all this happen. So Oracle is investing in Nvidia, OpenAI is investing into them, and Nvidia is investing into them, and it's just going back and forth and back and forth. Like OpenAI inks a 300 billion cloud deal with Oracle. That deal has now been monetized, or the value rather has been found to be a fraction of that. I think it's now like 70 bill or 60 bill, which is huge. Like that is huge.
Whoa.
So all of these different companies, they just keep investing into one another, and they just keep passing the money, which, I mean, look, maybe it might work. I don't know enough about it to dispute it, but it certainly doesn't pose well for the future if it doesn't work, because then if it doesn't and the economy crashes again now, if the economy crashes now, like globally, I mean, even in 2008, like we kind of felt that here in Canada, but even so, like to a much smaller extent than they did there. But now, like now that we have social media, it's completely different, because in 2008 that wasn't really a thing. I think Twitter was only like just starting out, as was Facebook. It wasn't really as big of a deal. But now we got TikTok and Instagram and all this other stuff. Like people are gonna be spending a lot of time online, spewing a lot of hateful things against the people that are in charge of all of this.
Yeah, but that still doesn't change the problem that the leaders of our nations are what? Sitting there being like, okay, let's do damage control as much as possible and cover our own asses until
Mm-hmm.
AI makes these problems, you know,
Obsolete.
a non-contestant in people's minds.
Yeah.
Like you're the leader of my nation right now, and your only motive is just delaying.
Just pass the buck. Yeah.
Just that's unacceptable,
I mean, that's what it
and I
feels
shouldn't have
like.
to explain why.
That's what it feels like, right? Like, I mean, the budget that was recently passed in Canada said that they're adding another 84 billion or whatever ludicrous billion
It's
in deficits, which, like, who's gonna, I don't even know what that number means. That, like, what are we even paying off? Now we're getting to a point where the
Carney is
where the
staring into the camera, fucking telling tens of millions of Canadians that sacrifices are coming. What the fuck have we been doing all this time?
you haven't been sacrificing enough.
Well, clearly not. What does he want? Does he want my left nut while he's at it?
Well, I mean, like, have you heard him
Because
talk?
honestly, if that'll satisfy him, I'll go on the table. Like,
I'm Spartacus.
I
No,
will
I'm
save us all.
Spartacus. But no, check this if you haven't had the pleasure of being serenaded by our dear Prime Minister's words. It's hard to hear because like I understand the words individually what they mean, but combined in the way that he does, I can't my brain it's like I can't compute. Like just give this a listen.
Thank you so much.
Can we have the last question? Just sorry. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Kind of got it from Dogwood News. Following up on this question. So, as it stands, Western LNG is the owner of the Xilisms terminal, and it would be built in Korea with Korean and Chinese steel. So, how much taxpayer money are we prepared to invest in a project that is American owned and foreign built?
There are different aspects of the project, as I said. There is the PRGT pipeline, which is necessary, which is Canadian owned, First Nation. Sorry, can I finish? There is the associated transmission line that comes there. There are structures that come with projects that ensure that there is returns to taxpayers through the tax system as well. And the structure of the financing is a decision that we take with the full information of the project design. So that's part of
What?
you don't answer. We answer that question with full information by doing the work, and that's what the referral to the major project office facilitates. Thank you.
What the fuck?
I don't
Okay, first of all, if you go back a little bit into that clip, I love the guy, the guy in behind him. His face.
Oh yeah,
I love his face.
So the
the
project
whole
is
time it
prepared
just,
to
it just
invest
gives
in a
off the
project
what
that
the
is
fuck are
American
you even
owned
talking about vibes.
I mean, he's clearly squinting because of the sun.
and
but-
foreign built.
Yeah, I
There
know,
is
but
look, there are different.
I looked over
aspects
at
of
him
the
halfway
project,
through
as I said.
Carney's fucking
there
spiel, and I was
is
like, yeah, I feel
our
the same way, bro.
Structures that come with projects that ensure that there is returns to taxpayers through the tax system as well. And the structure of the financing is a decision that we take with the full information of the project.
The full information of the project. I don't
This
like. What
is
does that even?
such
Yeah.
lawyer fucking jargon. What
yeah.
he basically said is we make decisions off the plans that are presented to us. Yeah,
Yes.
no shit, Sherlock.
Yeah. And I put on my pants one leg at a time. Like what?
Oh my god.
What are we talking about here?
Fuck.
It's crazy.
This is what I'm saying, man. This is what I fucking hate about politicians. Answer the fucking question.
Well, this guy's like he literally he presented himself as like the candidate to be like, oh, I was in the World Bank, I was in
I
the,
know
the British Bank,
finances.
I know finances, I know how the world works, and it's like none of what you said makes sense there. Absolutely none of it. What are we talking about here? Yeah.
Literally, what you just said is we're gonna fund this thing with taxpayer money, and then we might get residuals off of infrastructure related to the main building. Sick. That sounds fair.
Yeah, it's very strange because that project, so it's all the materials sourced for it will be American. The people working on building it, I believe, will be American. So all the assets and operations and everything will be American. And then there's a native tribe that he mentioned there that's going to go into partnership on this. So that's like the only Canadian part, but realistically it's all American because
Wait. There's a native tribe.
so
we're building a pipeline in Canada through native land that's going to support this. What is it? An airport?
yeah, so this is the Xilisms LNG project. It's being fast tracked by feds in BC. So it's designed to be a massive LNG export facility in waters off of the province's northwest in, I don't know, Niska, however you pronounce that, nation territory. With 2 floating platforms, it would process up to 22.4 billion cubic meters of gas per year, resulting in exports of 12 million tons of LNG per year. How would the project be powered? from the planned North Coast transmission line running about 450 kilometers from Prince George to BC. The timeline. Who's the owner and operator? It's being developed in partnership with the native nation, Rockies LNG Limited, which is a Canadian company. Partnership. Oh, sorry, Rockies LNG Limited Partnership and Western LNG. Western LNG is the key here because that's the American one. Documents show the project's assets will be constructed, owned, and operated by wholly owned subsidiaries of Western LNG based in Houston, Texas. So the project's assets will be constructed, owned, and operated by an American company.
So Mr. Elbows Up is just handing money to the U.S.
Yes.
Sick.
Yeah.
Because
this
that's
is
what
not-
that's
yeah.
literally what we're doing. We're just
Yeah.
handing over taxpayer money to the U.S.
Yeah.
and hoping that they'll treat us nice.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically it.
And giving them even a heavier conglomerate on the on natural gas. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
In a country that isn't even on this hemisphere.
Yeah. I don't know what to make of it. I genuinely don't know what to make of it because I mean this amount of word salad has just been getting
Am I
them through.
schizophrenic by what I'm hearing right now? Like what? None of this makes any fucking sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, once again, people they're not aware of it. They're not like how many people are even aware that this is happening or who's involved or anything. I mean, one of the commentators that I used to follow on Instagram, he was saying like, no, like we should actually congratulate Carney. You know, usually I'm like super against the government, but like, no, this is actually good because you're just a Canadian company that's being involved with it and the First Nations, yada yada yada. It's like, okay, but at the end of the day, this is not a project that is 100% Canadian. It's not, and that's what we need. Like we need projects. I'll play that in a bit. We need projects that are fully Canadian made and worked by Canadians. That's the only thing that's going to get
Where
this.
Canadians are profiting.
Yeah, that's the only way that we're actually going to benefit from any of this cuz like who does this actually benefit? I don't understand. Not us, clearly. Not us.
Cuz that's the thing. You want to talk about Canada first? What the fuck?
Well, here, like, because that was the perfect chance for him to say, like, no, if the project was actually like run, at, like fully invested into by like Canadians and was 100% Canadian made, that was the
It'd be
perfect
huge.
time for him to be like, yeah, I said elbows up, and we're putting our elbows up. We're not relying on any foreign labor, no foreign materials. This is all being, made in house. And sure, I'm not saying like we can 100% do it. Maybe like I would be fine with 90, 80, or even 70%. But the fact that this is so wishy-washy that we got to the point where it's like, oh, okay, so the First Nation signed off on it, and some Canadian company is like helping to facilitate it, but all the assets are going to be owned and run by an American company. It's like that's a far cry from Canada First. That's a far cry from elbows up.
Yeah. It just seems like another dump of cash, right? Like the Ukrainian crisis or the Gaza situation. We're giving money to both Israel and Gaza, and that money is just being burned on each other. Like we're just throwing taxpayer money away.
Yeah. Yes, we are. And Canadians aren't even aware of it. Which, like, once again, going back to the RCMP report, the media landscape is so twisted that, like, people they literally just don't know how bad things are. Like some people that I've talked to close to me are only now like coming around to like, hey, this immigration thing is kind of a problem. So, yeah, yeah, we've been saying that for years.
Yeah,
been saying that for years, and now people are actually like coming into terms with it. Like, hey, shouldn't the people that run these colleges be like serving jail time? Shouldn't these people actually face like dire consequences? Shouldn't these people? Yeah, yeah. I'm glad. Hey, welcome to the team. welcome to the team. And you know what? Controversial as it may be, I'll even say this: what Nick Fuentes is doing with the America First movement, that's what we need done with the Canada First movement. We need, first of all, we don't have a movement. We don't have a Canada First movement. We need somebody to start spearheading.
No, we did, but then it was burned down.
Oh, you mean the convoy?
That was the whole point of the convoy.
It
The
wasn't so
Freedom
much
Convoy
Canada
was
first.
a spark. Absolutely, it was a Canada First thing. Absolutely, it was a Canada First thing. Anybody who was at that rally would tell you that. We all shared the same basic principles when it came to what our nation should focus on.
Well, I
It
mean,
may not
Canada.
have been it may not have been exclusively like as you're saying an action of truly Canada first, but it
Mm,
was the biggest attempt. And once they burned it to the ground maliciously, all it did was prove that no matter how many people come together, no matter how many no matter how much money you raise for a movement, it means nothing in the face of the federal government. They don't give a shit.
they got the guns.
They got the guns.
They got the guns.
They got the guns and they got the money and they'll put you under. They got the control. It doesn't matter. So even Canadians that do feel that way, we're just stuck. Because what are you supposed to do now?
I mean, it, that's certainly a lesson that can be taken away from the convoy. But I think more importantly, and we've talked about this before, where I mean the all the restrictions and everything that were taken away and removed shortly after that protest, that kind of signaled everything. That was the success of the movement. It wasn't like a
It was a
loud
minor.
celebration. It wasn't CBC coming out and saying, "Oh, we were wrong," and here's all the ways. There was no admission of guilt. There was no um,
No, no.
there was nothing. Even in the investigation, even in the public hearings, like Trudeau even comes out like that part was hilarious. I never called people names. I never
No, but
I
see,
never
we came.
I never called people names. That's ridiculous.
No, but the problem is that we came to make a statement
Hmm.
and we left leaving residuals. Because all we really told the government at that moment was, listen, we're getting sick and tired of your shit. That was the statement. Where in reality, we walked in and we said, hey, this is absolutely egregious what you've done. Those are two very different statements. And leaving the residuals of saying, like, oh, yeah, we're getting sick and tired of your shit. Sure, it was a wake up call to the government to ease up on all these restrictions and so on. But that wasn't the point. There's a difference between making a statement and like leaving. I don't want to say leaving an impact because that sounds.
Well, it didn't go far enough. There was no
Well, I didn't need
awakening.
admission. I didn't need admission of like CTV coming out and being like, "Oh, hey guys, we kind of fucked up.
Well,
We
no,
shouldn't
no,
have said these things." Like, I
not
don't
even
need
that.
that. What I need is to be able to believe in a government that's looking out for my best interests.
Hmm.
That's what I'm looking for.
Hmm.
And the complete destruction of the convoy was the absolute antithesis of that.
Yeah, it didn't go far in that regard because I mean there was no realization that hey maybe we should listen to the people because yeah these people were demonized and to this day anytime that you see it on Reddit or social media or even in conversation. Like I remember a coworker of mine, they were talking about this restaurant during COVID that was not appealing by the bylaws or anything, and they were like giving vouchers to people to like for free drinks and whatnot. And this guy was saying, "Oh yeah, she's like an anti-masker, the owner of the restaurant, and yeah, we just took those vouchers and just threw them in the trash," and just talking so flippantly about it. And it's like, oh okay, so that was really the victory that I was looking for, like a cultural awakening. Like, hey, what have we done to people? What have we done to our neighbors, to our
Mm,
teachers, our firemen, our nurses, our I mean, any cashiers, what have you, everyone. What have we done to all these people that we rely on,
mm,
for our daily bread? And we've completely just demonized them to the point where it was acceptable for the Toronto Star to publish a front page letter basically saying like, "Oh, do we tolerate the unvaccinated and all that?" Like that's what we were looking for, just like some kind of cultural awakening. But they burned the convoy so fast and so quick and so effectively that I
well,
mean,
and they
there's just
use the community to do it.
Yeah.
Like, you want to talk about the divisiveness that the RCMP there, the statement is talking about. That's it right there. Like, yeah, and you hit the nail on the head there perfectly. Like, it wasn't some grand acknowledgement. It was, yeah, the general realization, or like you said, the awakening of just saying like, hey, if we actually look at this logically, does this make any sense? And yeah, we couldn't even accomplish that because of how hard they demonized the convoy. Like, if you like, I'm afraid to mention the convoy with most strangers.
Oh yeah, that'll ostracize
Just
you.
because I know
Yeah.
I'm gonna be either it's a flip of a coin.
Yeah. And not even.
Like,
It's
when I
like,
was working UPS, I was literally kicked off a guy's route.
yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
He literally kicked me off his route when
Yeah.
he and I were shooting the shit. We were doing our jobs. We were good at it. Blah blah blah. And all of a sudden, I'm rotated out immediately the day after mentioning the convoy and COVID and all that.
Yeah, we've yet to see any kind of cultural clashing like that here in Canada on a wide scale. The convoy was certainly a symptom of it, but like to this greater extent where people are showing up in like town halls and uh not the parent teacher conferences, but like the school board meetings and all that. We've yet to see any kind of any mobilization in that regard. And I think we're gonna start to eventually see that because the lines kind of have been drawn. They have been drawn for a while, but nobody really acknowledged it. Um, up until I want to say like, well, up until like Trump came into power, um, this idea of like that your politics matter depending on who you're talking to in conversation, it never really became a thing. But now everything is so heavily politicized that um, you can't escape it. So there just hasn't been any real kind of confrontation or admission, like at least in the US, like people know where their bread is buttered. Like like if the state
Well,
that you live in, they will operate a certain way, or the city that you live in, even like the district or what have you. um they know what red and blue means. But here in Canada, like almost all of the political parties are so left leaning that even the conservatives, like they're not really conservatives. They're conservatives with a small c
mm,
and name only.
mhm.
And most of the stuff they talk about is actually fairly like liberal.
Liberal,
it's
yeah.
not, yeah, it like they don't even have like they don't even talk about like anything to do with abortion like they do in the US, or gun rights. Or actually no, there has been like Pierre probably the party has talked about gun rights, but not to this extent where like, hey, we should get citizens like access to firearms. Like nobody's talking about that. Nobody's actually
Mm,
making a concerted effort to be like, hey, the government can be tyrannical. Maybe we should make an effort for people to actually have access to guns to defend themselves against that, or to at least defend themselves. Like having like a castle doctrine. There have
mhm.
been little like whimperings and here and there, but there hasn't really been like a mass, quote unquote, a mass awakening event in Canada, which this RCMP, that report might be alluding to, that eventually it's going to become too difficult to ignore, that like you're just not going to be able to, I mean, buy basic necessities. And like when does that hit? Does that hit when people aren't able to go on vacation anymore? Does that hit when you're no longer able to live on your own and you have to move back in with your parents on like a nationwide scale? It's happening in like in its own little ways, but um is like what at what point is it actually going to be a problem?
Oh, it's happening in a big ways. Remember when I applied to work at the hospital there, the head of security told my dad, like, oh, well, if he's having a hard time paying rent and so on, like, most people are living at home with their parents longer these days. Like, that's just a realization.
Yeah,
People know this, but they refuse
it's
to
just
see an
common.
issue with it, which
Yeah,
is odd to me. And this comes back to what we said about, first of all, I'm going to mention the RCMP statement there. It's nice to hear that somebody is seeing the obvious in what's happening on the ground. It's terrifying that it's the like
RCMP.
federal policing agency.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it should be
yeah,
them. It really should
yeah.
not be
No,
them that are noticing
look,
this.
I'm glad somebody's seeing it. I'm not happy it's them though
Yeah.
that's acknowledging it.
It really should be
Uh,
like a sociology professor or some economics professor talking about it, like writing a report on behalf of
yeah.
Canadians or what have you, like some kind of
Yeah.
research institute coming out with this. It's like, no, this is the RCMP, the people that actually
No, it's
have
the fucking
stats and people on the ground and access to all the surveillance and all that. They're like, oh, okay, we're not liking the signal we're picking up
they're
these
called
days.
the Royal Canadian Military Police. I don't want these people like too close to what's going on, all right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then the other problem comes with like that sense of absolute that it's just an over sense of truth or confidence that whatever has happened and whatever views that I hold are absolutely correct. Like, and we've talked about that before as well. About that sense of like absolutism, that truth that says what I believe, this is the way. I mean, for God's sakes, we lost the no confidence vote because of the Green Party leader. Because she was literally just like, Carney made me promises. I don't want to go through the hassle of having an election. The conservatives can't expect me to vote no confidence again. Like it's such a burden. Fucking back of the hand on the forehead. Like, but it's this, yeah, it's that sense of certainty that just says, no, whatever way that I see things, that's it. That's the end all and be all. And that on either side of the aisle, as you were mentioning in America, whether you're blue or red, makes no difference. It's a massive detriment if your mind can't be if your philosophies and general knowledge of the world can't be proven wrong in some way. Like we've already mentioned this whole thing about trusting an AI to save us. It could happen tomorrow.
I would
Right?
trust it.
Like I could
I would trust it first. I would trust it that over than like all the
like I could
politics
be
or whatever.
100% wrong. No, 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 but talking about the theory alone, like I could be 100% wrong in sitting here and being like, "Oh, Carney just covering his own ass and believing that AI is going to save us is a horrible thing." But I could be 100% wrong in that. And I'm
Hmm.
open to that, conversation. I'm open to being proven wrong. Prove me wrong, please. But the other side says, "No, this is the way it is, and I will happily pay more taxes to do this when the rest of us are all starving." Like again, we talked about that disconnect.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had to step away for a sec.
There's a, yeah, no, there's a part of me that almost there's a part of me that's so skeptical. It almost
Of the AI thing.
no, 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 no. Even going back to the RCMP report, it's there's a part of me that's so skeptical on human behavior these days that they keep saying like, "Oh, the moment that people realize." And I'm sitting here going, "There's going to be people who are going to be like fucking homeless, and they're still not going to realize."
I mean, maybe, but I guess it doesn't
There are
matter
people
if
who are saying,
everyone
"Oh,
does
I'd
it.
willingly pay more in taxes." Oh, would you now? Well, good for you. Don't speak for the rest of us. Like these people think they're making some massive sacrifices. Obviously, homelessness is an extreme. The moment you're homeless, nothing else matters except
Yeah,
you.
yeah, you're not paying taxes.
Not paying tax. You don't again. You don't give a shit about what's going on in foreign policy if you're homeless.
Actually, no, they will be paying taxes because did you hear that the CRA is now going to be offering auto filing for a bunch of people, which is a concern because that doesn't mean that the government is like, oh, let's just give you a helping hand. It's like, oh, we're not squeezing the juice hard enough. There's a lot of people that are falling through the cracks. We need to squeeze harder. And by squeeze, I mean just get like as many people
Squeeze what's
into the
left. Yeah.
well, yeah, into the tax system as possible, which means that instead of relying on people like filing the claims on their own, they're like, oh, we'll just do it for you. We'll just do it automatically. And I'm sure their math will be correct, otherwise they're just going to spawn a bunch of lawsuits and whatnot. But um, they're doing that because they're like, look, we need to get more efficient at collecting money from these people. which means that
Yeah, because the country's broke.
that's what I mean. Yeah, like that's what that signal. It doesn't show me that like this is a gesture of goodwill. This shows me that you're concerned about your tax base. You're concerned about the money coming into the country. Um, and I know we're just yapping and rambling and whatnot, but I don't want to blackpill on this because look at the end of the day, most of the stuff doesn't it doesn't matter in the sense that like we can't. There's not really any control that we have any of over these like grand machinations, whether it's something as big as the Epstein files or the tax base in Canada or where an LNG plant is going to go. Um, only thing you can do is really just worry about yourself and the people that are in your close proximity, and try to make a difference in your community. Because like this stuff is nice to talk about, but getting stuck in the weeds of fuck this fucking shit sucks, fucking government, fucking libs,
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, yeah.
conservatives, like it's a fruitless effort, and I do not want a repeat of COVID when I got sucked into that fucking hole. Um, but no, like look at the end of the day, I think even with all these negative things, I think we're gonna be fine. We're gonna be fine, regardless. Because if it comes down to it, um,
We'll just go 160 billion in debt. Fuck it.
well, I mean, money's made up anyway, so
Money's made up and the numbers
Mon-
don't matter.
yeah.
Well, if the numbers don't matter, give me a couple more zeros on my account, you bitches. The fuck?
No, I mean in the long scope of history, good wins always. In the long arc of it, good always wins because it's like that. You ever hear that line in like cop shows or even like Narcos or any of these like drug shows where it's like the bad guy has to be right every single time because the one time that he's wrong about where he is or where they put money or where like just anything they leave evidence behind or whatever, the one time they fuck up, like that's it, we just need once. But they're on the back foot. They're the ones that are on the defense. They actually have to be um they have to be the ones that are making all these moves in all the correct places. But we just need one fuck up. We just need a single fuck up to absolutely expose them for what they're doing and to show just how perverse and ridiculous it is. I mean, I don't remember really like growing up hearing about all these weird government expenditures, and then now as an adult, I see like, oh, the government of Canada spent $10,000 on wine or 100,000 on some paintings or what have you. It's like, oh, they've been doing that for a while, but it's only now with social media and everything that we've actually been able to see this on a grand scale. So they've been getting away with it up until the point that information just flows freely throughout society. So I have
Yeah.
faith that even with all this negativity, like at the end of the day, good will always persevere. Good will always win. I think it's just a matter of time. And even like, because like you, I don't really have faith that Canadians will have like a mass awakening moment and be like, hey, we're a little bit too radical. We're a little bit too leftist. Like maybe we shouldn't be ripping children from families if they don't agree with the transing of their kids. Maybe we shouldn't be doing that. Maybe we shouldn't be confiscating SKS rifles from
Maybe we
hunters.
shouldn't be using our free time to rip down posters of our opposition just because we feel differently about them. How about
Oh
we start
yeah.
there?
I totally forgot about that during the
Like like
election.
like
Yeah.
like
Government of
basic
Canada
shit.
election
Election,
workers.
dude, it's still happening.
It's still happening?
Oh yeah, people are still going around. I saw a post on Twitter. I can't remember who it was by or what even it was for. I don't know if it was a city election or what,
Hmm.
but yeah, somebody was going down ripping down posters again.
Yeah.
Like, can we start there maybe? Can we acknowledge that these people are a little bit too far gone?
Well, you know that actually, hold on.
And I'm not saying too far gone as if, oh, should we tolerate these people? It's like, no, maybe
Yeah,
you
let's
need to
not
take a
use their
step back,
language.
and if you agree with these individuals, maybe you take a harder look at your fundamental belief system here.
Well, this just comes back to something that we've talked about in private before. All right, just pop another Zin. That these people that are so fragile. They need to contort and force the world to be around. Like when I pass political signs, there's not even a thought that goes in my head of like, hey, I disagree with this person so vehemently that I feel the need to rip it out. I'm just like, instead, I'm actually wondering. I'm more interested in, oh, I wonder how much that sign costs. I wonder where they sourced it. I wonder how they were able to like get somebody to take the time and do this. I wonder how much that person is paid. Like I'm more interested in that and thinking about that, like just the logistics of it, than oh this fucking guy, fucking his opinions are different than mine. I'm gonna rip him up. I'm gonna burn them. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. But those people, they're so fragile that they can't exist in the real world unless those barriers that they created for themselves are also like enforced. It's the same thing with like the trigger warnings. Like you get so used to trigger warnings and all that stuff that eventually once you go out into the
Mm.
world and you're faced with like, I don't know, some immigrant from the Balkans who like doesn't even know what the word
Or
trigger word is.
not even that. You're faced with some mode of confrontation, no matter
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah. You just crumple
You
because
just
you're like, yeah.
fold like
Yeah,
a
because
lawn chair.
yeah, this whole like idea of the world that you've built actually doesn't exist in reality. And actually, like nature does not have trigger warnings. It actually doesn't, and it doesn't care for them at all. It's like the same way that people call homeless people unhoused. It's like, okay, who's that helping? Like
Oh
who
my
like
god.
do you feel better about yourself using that word instead of homeless?
Yeah. Does
Like
it make it
really?
better when
Yeah,
they're doing the fentanyl flop outside your house?
yeah.
Oh, look at those unhoused citizens.
Try doing a wellness check on a homeless person, and if they use the word homeless, try to correct them.
Unhoused
Try to correct them. Yeah.
person.
Excuse me. You're actually
Excuse me.
you're actually unhoused.
You're actually unhoused.
Yeah,
Dude,
like
they're gonna
imagine
spit
that.
on you. Are you kidding me? Like
That's getting off light, dude. Fucking spit on you, bro. That's getting off light.
unhoused.
I had one spit on me, and I didn't even call her homeless. I just looked in her general direction.
Jesus.
Oh man. Yeah, that was funny. Fucking our mutual friend there, we were walking from watching the Batman movie. We were literally just saying how Toronto looks like Gotham in the rain at night. It was just like it was the perfect setting for it. Then we see this homeless lady just cracked out of her mind just walking down the street. And I just look at her general direction as we're passing and she just spits on me. I'm like, yo, what the fuck, bro?
What the fuck? I
This
live
is
in Gotham
Gotham.
City now.
Yeah, not like in the cool way where we have Batman. Like we don't even have Batman.
No. No, we get the RCMP
Ooh.
that's looking on from above that just says, shit's kind of getting bad down there.
That actually makes me think. Do you think that it's gonna get to a point where like, because we saw an example of this. I don't know if it was during COVID or what. I think it might have been during COVID where we saw that story about those dads. I think it was out west in BC or something. They were patrolling a neighborhood because a bunch of the homes got broken into there.
Oh, yeah.
They started patrolling the neighborhood, and it was like Christmas or Thanksgiving or whatever that they were spending their night on doing this, and eventually they caught the guy that was doing it. And actually, they didn't do anything to him. They made a citizen's arrest. They sat him down. They're like, "Look, you need water, food. Like, we'll give it to you. Here's a list of resources that you can go to in the city. Like, is there any way that we can help so that you can stop doing this? Because look, we're just trying to like we'd much rather just be with our families right now than be patrolling out in the streets in the cold because the cops aren't here. So somebody's got to do it. My question is, do you think that we're going to see a resurgence, or I guess since we've never seen the first wave, like the initial first wave of like vigilantism
Of
coming
private
out?
militias?
Well, not private militias, but just like people like maybe not in costume, but maybe in costume because there were some cases in like the early 2000s, I think 2010s as well, where like in Seattle they had a whole Avengers like type get up where like the crews of superheroes were walking around and patrolling the streets, and they were doing like wellness checks, making sure everything was safe. They weren't like getting into crazy shit. But there's some interesting lore behind this because apparently one of the first guys and one of the more popular guys that was in on it, um, he was like fully bought into the character, and there were all these like allegations. I don't know. I don't think it was sexual assault, but like assault, just general assault. Like he was beating on other people that just didn't deserve it. But anyways, that's a whole aside. There's a
It's
whole
like
lore
the
to that.
movies. If I punch you, you'll just get knocked out, and then the police will show up and take you away. and you'll be fine.
Yeah, but no, do you think that we're actually
Watching
gonna see?
blood and teeth hit the concrete.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you think we're gonna see like an actual wave of
no,
superheroes coming to? You
no.
don't think it's? Come on,
No, I don't
I'm
think
kind of
people
hoping
give enough
for
of a
it.
shit. You know what we're gonna see more of? We're gonna see more of men sitting in a rocking chair on their porch with a shotgun. That's what we're gonna see. People are gonna start protecting their own. They don't give a shit about anybody else. Nobody gives a shit about anybody else.
I
Nobody
think
cares
some.
enough to go out. No, because people who are doing that are blue haired, theirs, and they're not helping anybody. Like,
No, I think there's a good chance. I think there's a good chance we're gonna start seeing that just because like
no,
I
because
mean,
events like the Kyle Rittenhouse case have already set a precedent. That if you're caught in
well,
any
that
way doing
depends.
anything, I'm not saying with a gun or whatnot, but if at some point you end up on blast on the media, you're going to be painted all over the place for over a year for such and such charges that make no sense, and
Yeah, but he won.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does.
People still think Kyle Rittenhouse is a murderer. Nothing matters in these people's worlds. Again, we're talking about people who can't live in society. Like,
I don't know. I think that if that wave does happen here, I mean, I'll gladly welcome it. Like by all means, we talked about this topic before, where at the
Gotham
end,
needs a Batman.
well, look, at the end of the day, like, I mean, there was that case when I was working at my job there. I had to call an ambulance for a lady that took a nasty fall outside of my workplace there, and I got put on hold for like 2 minutes. I was like, "Yo, what the fuck? Well, you're putting me
Yeah.
on hold? Are you serious? That is
Hospital
insane."
visits, ER visits back in Ottawa are at an all-time high again.
Oh well, I
Just saw
mean,
a story run about that. Like,
yeah, they have been
yeah,
for a while. But no, like yeah, they put me on hold, and I was like, dude, if I'm getting like stabbed right now, like I'm just listening to this janky hold music, like what the fuck? It was
yeah,
crazy.
died of
So,
some sick, smooth jazz
or
from
no, it's
elevator music.
Avril Lavigne. He was a skater boy. Said, see you later,
No,
boy.
no, it wasn't. Could you imagine? Oh my
Oh,
god.
oh man, that would be funny. But no, you know what?
Hey,
I
at
welcome
least
it.
Avril Lavigne is Canadian, okay? Elbows up, am I
True,
right?
true. She's getting those residuals. But no, I would gladly welcome a vigilante force in Canada. Just like have one guy per province in the major cities. Call him like Canada Man or something, or I don't know.
Canada.
Just make it Canadian as
This
fuck.
sounds
Like
this sounds heavily regulated, and I feel like the government's gonna have a hand in it.
yeah, they would shut that shit down hard, or they would at
They would
least
shoot that
try
shit
to.
down hard. Absolutely not.
They would
As soon
try
as the
to.
first vigilante comes up, they're gonna beat him half to death in an alleyway.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
not
like,
gonna let that happen.
well, I mean, like, remember, like, how the police came, like, they had that one, I think it was in
Dude,
the
they felt
York
like they were
region.
losing control and they stomped a wheelchaired woman with a horse.
Oh, yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, grandma. But no, I remember that case in, I think it was York region, where the police were having that public hearing in their, in the precinct or something, and they were like, yeah, if somebody comes to rob your house, put the keys out where the robbers can see them, so that it's easier for them to
just hang them
rob you.
outside your front door, why don't you?
But no, I think if anything, that's just that's a signal that like yeah, we desperately need a vigilante force. Um, no, it's crazy, man. I started riding the TTC again, and oh boy,
But
oh
if we
boy.
need a the problem is that if we need a vigilante force, the government has already failed.
Oh, of course. Oh no, they've failed like a while ago, like years
No,
ago.
I
Yeah,
know, but that's
even
a
the cops are
huge
saying it.
admittance of
Yeah,
failure.
yeah. Oh,
And
that's because that's like in the same way, like in the comic books or like with Batman, where like the police have this antagonistic relationship with him because he makes them look bad because they're actually stepping in and doing it. But you know what? I think the cops would actually cheer it on because at least like some of the police unions especially leading up to the election. They're like, look, we would love for these laws to change because, like, do you think we enjoy catching all these people and only to release them out on bail? And now they're out in the community. Like, how many notices have we seen of legitimate, like, actual perverts just getting released? Not just perverts, but like actual like rapists getting
But not
sent
even
out,
just that.
and then the police puts out a notice. Hey, by the way, if you live in this community, watch out for this rapist. Like, what
But,
the fuck?
but not even just that. The police are being flooded with predicaments that don't even necessarily involve them. That's the problem. The problem is that the laws need to change so that people can actually act in a reasonable manner out in society. Like again, going back to that case of what was that army vet who accidentally killed that guy who was tweaking out in the subway.
Oh yeah.
Like
It's
we've talked
either
about that before.
Daniel Penny or Daniel Perry.
I think
I always
Penny
confuse
is.
the
I
two.
think Penny is right, isn't it? Oh, maybe you're
No,
right. Daniel.
no.
No, Daniel. No.
Hold on. No. If I just look it up on Perplexity, hold on.
But yeah. Anyways, it's that. I think those are the laws they're referring to. Is like, can we please allow citizens to act in a reasonable manner against like an obvious threat,
Jordan
so that
Neely.
those individuals, because now we just let this shit happen. That's the problem.
Yeah, Daniel Penny was the 24-year-old Marine veteran. Wow, veteran at 24. Jesus. How come he doesn't have a Wikipedia page?
And there you go.
I wonder what he's
That's
up
all.
to.
That's all that needs to be said.
I wonder what he's up to. Wait, only 2 weeks ago he was acquitted? No. That was a while ago. Yeah, in 2023. There's no way this is what?
Yeah, it could have taken 2 years to go through the court.
No, I know. Okay. Fucking stupid goddamn paywall.
But yeah, no, I think that's what the RCMP was referring to. It's not necessarily like bringing about vigilantism, but it's allowing people to just act in accordance with a situation. Like, how many times have we watched videos of somebody who's tweaking out, beating on random people in a subway or a bus or whatever else out in public, or just pulling some crazy shit and being an obvious threat, and everybody else is just standing there watching?
Dude, that Ukrainian
Like, I
chick.
remember watching this one video of this guy who was sitting on one of the bench seats next to this girl, and he was just straight up like assaulting her. And she's looking around, and you can see it, and people are just there with their phones, just taking the video of it. Nobody's getting involved because people are too scared to get in trouble.
Or yeah, they just don't want to risk their life when it comes down to it.
Well,
But
yeah,
they're
like you
gonna have
said,
to.
Daniel Penny doesn't even have his own wiki page.
They're gonna have to. They're gonna have to get their hands dirty one way or another. Because nobody's coming to save us at the end of the day. Like, we clearly can't rely. At least here in Canada, like, we can't rely on the cops to do this. I mean, how many stories of like break-ins have we seen, or cars getting stolen and whatnot? Like,
Well, that's what I'm
yeah,
saying. That's where you're
we
going to
might.
see people setting themselves up in their freaking rocking chairs on the porch with a shotgun. They're like, nobody's coming to save me, so I'm going to protect my own.
We might see the rise of like private security firms, like in a very big way soon enough. I mean, they obviously have a heavy presence down in the states. I know that there's this like it's kind of like an Uber service where you can order that and like the guys will be armed and they have like all the certifications and whatnot and
Oh,
they'll
yeah.
drive you in that big I think it's an Escalade or whatever it's called, but like yeah, those giant cars. But here in Canada we don't really have that kind of a thing just yet. But I wouldn't be surprised if like in the coming years things get so bad that people eventually start to have at least like the rich will certainly have that if it starts to become a problem. Um,
No, what I could see is militias coming together to protect a community.
mhm.
Like, that's what I was meaning more by it, is like people in a community that support each other that then come to realize, yeah, the government's not helping us. Nobody's coming to save us. We need to protect ourselves, similar way that those gentlemen did during COVID. I could see that happening again. Absolutely.
Yeah, especially in the remote communities, that's for sure. And Canada is, I mean, look, outside of the metropolitan centers, that's all that it is. It's all just rural communities and small towns and whatnot. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised to start seeing more activity like that. Yeah, maybe rent-a-cops are maybe like a little bit too far on the horizon on it, but eventually, I mean, look, something's gonna have to fill the gap. Something is gonna have to fill that void of service where the cops just can't perform. Um, I mean, like realistically, because the liberals can't just keep. The reason I say that they can't keep getting away with this is because like eventually the buck is gonna stop, and it's not gonna become fashionable to just keep pressing the deficit, and you're gonna need someone to come around and actually like take actions in their own hands. Because I mean that's what Trump was. Trump was a reaction to people on both the left and the right. Uh, just operating as a uniparty, business as usual, just looking out for the interest of their donors or the companies or the super PACs or what have you. And then Trump was the first figure of somebody coming out and saying, "No, I'm self-funded, so I'm not worried about that." But even he's now succumbed to all these different incentives and pressures, and people are becoming disillusioned with him. So if anything, like Trump is not the silver bullet or the straw that breaks the camel's back. But something that comes after him will be. Because if he doesn't do a good enough job, if even he's not able to do a good enough job, that's just going to signal to not only America, but the rest of the world. And this is why, like, Canadian politics, or why the Canadians' attentions on America actually matters, because America sets the standard for a good chunk of what happens in the rest of the world. That's why I love, paying attention to it, because it's kind of like a bellwether for what's going to happen here. And if Trump isn't enough for America, bro, the next guy that they're gonna elect, holy shit, the next guy that we're gonna have, yeah, I don't know. That's gonna be interesting to see. Because look,
Next
they can,
guy? I'm sorry, guy?
oh, whatever. Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. No. Yeah. Kamala Harris is gonna get elected. Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Be really, if that's
Yeah.
not a wake up call, I don't know what is.
But no, whatever form that takes, it's gonna be interesting to see because like I said, Trump is just he's just the first to kind of like dip his toes into it, but not really go all the way in. Because now, as we talked in the beginning, with the Epstein scandal, he's been dragging his feet on, and a bunch of other stuff that he's just gotten it wrong on. Now he's like, they've essentially like pulled back on their deportation thing. Like if you watch the media, you're gonna think, oh my, they're deporting all these people. There's that recent case. I don't know if you saw. There was that this lady that they pulled out of a daycare center, and all the news for like a week or something, they were running with a story that, oh my god, they pulled a daycare teacher out of her job in the middle of her class, and they traumatized all the students. No, 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 no. It was an illegal that ran into a daycare for protection. And the
Oh,
cops were
wow.
like, all right, well, we're going in to get her because, like, we're not going to let a door stop us. So they just yanked her out. And because the door that they're pulling her out of has, like, the daycare name on it, everyone has just assumed that she was a teacher. Like, and then an hour into the day, everyone realized, oh, she's, like, actually, like, legit illegal getting arrested. So, even with all that, like America, like Trump is like putting a pause on deportations. He's saying that they need more H-1B visas and they need more immigrants and all that. So even he's not going far enough. And people think that the sky is falling whenever Trump tweets anything. So if people think that the sky is falling with him, who's gonna come next? Who's gonna come after? That's what I'm worried about. I'm not worried about Trump at all. I'm worried about the guy that comes in after and says he didn't go far enough. What does that actually look like?
Yeah. That's gonna be interesting for sure.
Because like if we're basing the conversation off the report, where it said like, oh, Canadians just don't realize just how bad it is. because either the media landscape or the politicians or whichever thing. What happens when they actually do realize it? What happens when they do realize like they are just as fucked? Like, are people gonna keep their money in the banks? Are people gonna even allow their kids to go to school? I mean, like, do you just start doom prepping at that point? Do you just start like having a go bag that's ready full of stuff? I've been thinking of getting one for years now, and I honestly, now that I've moved into this new place, I really should invest in one because, I mean, if the RCMP is saying that, I don't feel like that's a psyop. I feel like that's actually just real, especially if the report wasn't like it wasn't released properly. It was released through a Freedom of Information request, so it was a sealed report that was like redacted in a bunch of areas. That just kind of makes me think like maybe they actually know something I don't. Maybe that's actually worth paying attention to. Like
I would say so.
get one of those big buckets. You ever see those big buckets on Amazon, where it's like it's a prepper bucket?
Buckets? What?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. It's like a bucket that has like MREs and stuff for like a century. Let me see if I can find it. Is it going to be an emergency food kit?
It's at Costco?
Oh yeah, yeah, I guarantee you can get it at Costco. But no, it was like it wasn't like this. It was like like an actual like an oil barrel of a bucket. Like an like a
It's a
bucket
drum.
yeah, a drum that has everything. No, it's not that small. No, it was a huge one. Somebody did like a video review of it. Yeah, it was like this basically. Yeah, something
Okay.
like this basically. Yeah.
You don't really have enough room. Now you're just gonna store this bucket somewhere. Like,
Well, no, I'm not. I mean, I'm not gonna get a bucket. I'm just gonna get like a bag with the passport, a hatchet, and whatever else I need to survive for
passport and hatchets. That's it.
70.
There you go. What I
An
need.
empty bag.
I'm gonna survive the zombie apocalypse right now.
Yeah,
The liberal apocalypse.
fuck buying shit. All you need is a hatchet. You just walk up to someone and be like, "All right, that's mine now."
You're mine now.
What is it? What does a doom prep even look like in the city? I mean, that's just chaos. Like, well, like fill make sure your bathtub is filled with water, and I mean, what? Like, where do you even go?
Make sure your bathtub for what? The nukes?
Well, no. I'm not talking about like nukes. I'm talking like I don't know, like the grid goes down, or the police are incapacitated, or networks go down, or what have you. Like, what do you even do? What do you
You
even do
get
in
out
that
of the city
situation?
is what you do.
Yeah, but everyone and their mom is gonna have that plan, and the highways are gonna be backed up. And the last thing I want to do is be caught in traffic and be waiting. I would probably wait it out. I'd probably wait it like see if I can wait out a week and like go to my nearby stores and rob them if I have to.
Just rob your neighbors.
Get a bunch of canned food.
Just use that
Yeah.
hatchet, start chopping down doors.
I mean, if the grid goes down, no electricity, that's like you're just living off power banks. Where do you even go? You need something solar.
If you're gonna run anything with power, yeah.
Yeah, solar fuel. You need diesel or just fuel in general, which is going to be scarce. I don't think. See, I'm trying to game theory this to see if not even like a way for me to win, but just to survive. And I can't think of anything. I think I'm just fucked.
I'm just fucked.
I think you're
Well, I was
just
gonna
fucked.
say you're on like the 76th floor, like
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I have some wood I can chop down in here, but actually no, I can make a fire on the balcony. I
you'll
guess I could
burn
do
the
that.
fucking apartment down.
I got I got one propane tank for my barbecue. That'll have to last me a while. What does doom prepping in the modern age even look like now? I'm just wondering.
I've looked into it a bit. It's mostly just well, I don't know what fucking I don't even know what doom prepping looks like in a suburban setting or in a metropolis like Toronto.
I mean,
They're
even
they're
in Ottawa,
basically all like, get out of town, go to the woods, and now you can survive. Is basically what it is.
yeah, find a
Like
lake with water.
mostly what I saw was just bug out bags.
Yeah, that's why I have a book on first aid that I've kept ever since I found it in the laundry room some years back. Just because I'm like, well, look, if all else goes to shit, at least I have like a hardcover book and not just something on my Kindle. So if my Kindle dies, it's basically useless. But if I have like an actual
Oh damn! I
hardcover
could
book,
save your life if only my Kindle had a charge.
right, right, how much would that suck? Just reading on how to do a proper splint or a tourniquet.
Well, tourniquets aren't hard.
Yeah, I guess you are kind of just like fucked if you're in an urban center. Like where your folks are, like you could probably you could last a while. You
Oh
could last
yeah,
a pretty long time.
100%. That water's drinkable.
What do you even do for food? I guess yeah, just like get into hunting and
Get to
fishing.
hunting and trapping.
Hunting and fishing. How long do chickens live for?
I don't know. I'm gonna say 6 years.
That's a lot of years.
8 to 10.
Wow.
Backyard flocks. What was it? 6 to something?
8 to 10 years under good conditions. That's pretty good. If you got like, I mean, how many eggs do they lay?
Jesus Christ, you and your fucking eggs.
Well,
You're
dude,
like, can
that's
I have a
everything.
constant supply of eggs while the world is burning around me?
Well, I mean, that's everything. You got
I need my
everything except meat.
eggs.
Everything except meat and greens. That'll outlive you.
You gonna buy a chicken next? Is that what's going on?
Almost 1 egg per day. I need a dozen chickens then.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, to feed like a family or something, yeah, you're gonna need like a dozen chickens. Some chickens, a cow, 2 cows ideally, and
Okay,
what
so now you're
else?
saying move out, live on a farm, and now you're ready for.
Yeah, you gotta have a farm if you're gonna outlive. That might be the first places that are like hit out in the country, or at least like get a lot of attention, is people pulling up to farms, being like, "Hey guys, got any more of them eggs?" Yeah, 5 to 6 eggs weekly, 4 to 5 eggs weekly. Yeah, you definitely gonna need some chickens. That's my final plan. Eventually, I want to have a homestead with chickens and cows and whatnot. In my fantasy version of where I don't live in Canada at the age of 60 or 70, where I get to quote unquote retire. I mean, it doesn't really matter if you buy land now because the natives will just claim it, right? You heard about that ruling out
Jesus.
west?
Yeah, I did.
That's crazy. They're actually going forward with it, eh? Or at least it's getting muddled in the courts. That's crazy how our government hasn't said anything about that. How has nobody come out and been like, no, 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 no. Private property rights are like actually fundamental to the founding of our nation,
Nah,
and
you
we
don't get
need to
private
we need to
property.
we need to secure that, because if we don't, like, did you hear about what they're doing? I think it's like in New Brunswick or something, where they're trying to claim like 70% of the province.
Can you hear my rocking chair rolling back and forth with the shotgun in my hand? Click click.
What
Like, what?
what shotgun? They're gonna
Remember?
give you
Remember
a
what I
BB
said?
gun. Yeah, I know.
This is what
Remember
it's
what you
gonna
said,
be.
but they're not gonna give you a
Yeah,
shotgun. They're
this is
gonna give
exactly
you
what
a
it's gonna
BB
turn
gun.
into. He's
They're
gonna
gonna
be
give
get
you,
over here, and I'm gonna shoot you in the face.
they're gonna give you a BB gun, bro. Here,
I
one
don't
second.
care
I
what
gotta.
your color your skin is. Come take my land. What the fuck?
Hold on, I gotta step away. But yeah, no, I mean that's like it's a pipe dream, but I mean, is that even possible to like to buy that much land and just to have chickens? All because at that point, when when you have that kind of a life, you're just that's what you're doing full time. There's no like you're not gonna have a work from home job as you live on a farm unless you have AI. I wonder how AI is gonna change the farming landscape. You think we're just gonna have automated farms? We must, right? We're gonna definitely have automated farms.
Well, that's probably what the whole AI thing is about, right? Being like, oh, AI is going to make it so productive and compact and so on. They're going to optimize everything. That this is where abundance comes from.
Speaking of technological farms, do you hear about the cows that wear VR headsets?
This is going to make me depressed, isn't it? This is going to make me sad.
They put VR headsets on
We show
cows.
the cows open green pastures while we lock them down in a cage.
Well, here's the most upsetting thing about it. I heard, or at least like I read that apparently in terms of
when you
like
take it
milk
off, they get
production,
depressed.
well, no, but in terms of like milk production and everything, like it's barely noticeable of a change compared to
Oh my
like
god.
them roaming out in the pastures.
You
So
show them this
cows,
fantasy and rip it away because they're not producing.
so cows are just they're just at the threshold of being dumb enough to be fed that visual stimuli that it doesn't make a difference to them. So like really we're the only ones that are able to see just how bad it is, but like I mean we could look away, you know?
You
It's
trying to say these cows got it good?
they think no, they don't have it good.
This is
They think they have it.
optimal production value.
They think they have it good, and that's all that matters.
They think it's good. That's awesome. That's great. We've enslaved an entire species.
Well, yeah, it's a technology developed according to Google AI, which I don't trust.
To
But
reduce anxiety.
yeah, technology developed in Russia and Turkey to simulate summer fields for dairy cows. And this story was in 2019. Yeah.
I feel like some dumbass just put a VR headset on a cow and said, let's just see what happens. And the news was like, fuck it, this is revolutionary. Technologia.
Technology. Yeah, I don't know to what extent that would be real, but how do we feel about that? I mean, if it helps them produce, does it
But it doesn't.
matter?
It's marginal.
Philosophically,
It's
does it
nothing.
matter?
If they're not producing twice as much milk, I don't give a shit. Like,
Yeah, but if it's the same and now they don't have to graze and you don't have to deal with all that, if they're just stuck in their pen all day, just like immobile, just standing there. I mean, obviously, like as a person, I obviously I feel bad, I feel awful, but on a large scale, if it comes down to it that this is what we have to do to feed the population, I mean, if we all had to sign a waiver, like how many people would really disagree to sign that? Except the vegan extremists and PETA and all that. If we get all that out of the way, if we just have, just the common folk be like, well, I mean, I like my steak, I like my milk, I like my cheese, you know. There's always going to be the purists, always, and I'm not disagreeing with them, but I mean, at a certain point, it's either that or like we just can't fit production. We can't meet the outputs that are needed.
I don't think this is an issue. We can meet production. We're dumping milk.
In Canada, we are. In Canada, we are. Yeah. That's also crazy. That's probably gonna get put to a stop too, eh? Once the food supply actually becomes a bigger problem, that's probably gonna get put to a stop. That is crazy. We do have starving homeless on the streets, but we're actually dumping like thousands of liters of milk down the drain, and God knows how many eggs and whatever else.
Unhoused.
Sorry.
Unhoused. I couldn't even find the word. It took me so long. You'd already passed the word ages ago, and I'm like, what the fuck is it?
Dude, I had somebody close to me correct me on that once, and I almost went feral. I was like, dude, shut the fuck up. I'm not
Feral.
calling them unhoused to assuade your sensitivities. I'm not doing that. I'm not calling them unhoused. Are you? I feel like homeless is at least more like that's at least more justifiable to the people. Like if you took a poll to them, if they even like cared enough to answer the poll, I feel like they'd be
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, call me homeless. Like, are you serious? Like, what do you mean unhoused? Unhoused means like I was taken out of my house. It's like, no,
No,
that's
but
not it.
you're just putting
Denying
lipstick on a
reality.
pig. It changes
Yeah.
nothing. Like just
putting
because you put a
putting
fancy
lipstick on
new
a
word on
homeless
it
on a homeless pig
Yeah.
with
On
a
an
spindle
unhoused pig.
with a spindle.
But it changes nothing. This is what we've called them. Stop changing language. It doesn't actually change anything in the real world. Please live in the real world. Fuck's sake. Like I heard they're changing Dundas.
What do you mean? What do you mean changing? They already have.
Has it been changed? I saw an
Yeah,
article
hold
today
on.
that was like the changing of Dundas
Hold on, I'm getting a drink.
Station, the name.
I'll let you know.
Oh boy. But yeah, just quit changing the names of stuff. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't alter the world. It doesn't make the world better. Unhoused. Oh god. It's just and we've talked about this before. It's the same thing as calling pedophiles maps. If anybody ever looks at you and says, actually, they're
I'm a
just
minor
minor
attracted
attracted
person.
people.
Yeah.
Love is love. Talk about going feral. Like what?
Yeah, no, that Dundas thing happened a while ago, and I remember there was this is just the height of comedy. I this guy's like making a report to a security officials on Dundas. This video, and he's like, he's either talking about homeless or some of the protesters or something that was happening. And he's like, yeah, like, this is happening at Dundas Square. And the guy's like, excuse me, it's called Sankofa Square. And the guy's like, I don't fuck, like, that has, what, that has nothing, first of all, it is Dundas. It is not Sankofa Square. Because Sankofa is like, it's not even a native term. It's an African term. I forget from which nation, from which country it comes. What was the actual renaming? After Dundas, Ghanaian from Ghana, from fucking. Oh, I didn't realize we had such a huge population of fucking Ghanaians in Toronto. Like, what the fuck does that?
I
What
didn't
the
realize
fuck?
Ghana mattered to us.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
Canada. This whole multiculturalism thing has been taken way too far.
It's not even multicultural. It's just it's a complete rejection of history. Like, there's no need for. Oh my god, they actually. Oh yeah, in 2025 March, they approved a proposal to change Dundas Station to TMU Station. Because they changed the Ryerson University to Toronto Metropolitan
Yeah,
University.
that's the one I heard, the TMU.
And the official grand opening of the new name was held on August 23rd. Grand opening. Wow. And okay, this is too funny. The grand opening featured Caribbean short films, live music, and artisan and vendor market, and basketball clinics.
They had a festival?
Yeah.
They had a festival about it?
Yeah, this
Hey, yo,
summer.
we renamed this thing because fuck history and give it the most generic name possible. And we're gonna fucking throw a party about it. Sick.
That's so sad. That's so sad. Yeah. No, it'll come back to bite people in the ass. I think eventually like they're gonna realize their mistake, and they're gonna backpedal really hard, cuz look, at the end of the day, like, say what you want. Like these people built the nation, whatever history, and like any rejection of that is you're just rejecting that. It's like who does that serve? Because you know what, if anything, it's actually better to remember these names as they were. Because at the end of the day, all those victims and all these people that you're supposedly speaking on behalf and trying to defend, you're erasing their history too. Because now you're calling it something else, and now you don't even remember the victims of all that. Now you just remember this new thing, which is built on what? What the fuck is Sankofa? What the fuck is Kichizibi? Whatever that
The
fucking
unhoused.
the highway.
It's the same thing. Oh yeah, the
Kichizibi.
Kichi Minchi. I keep calling it. I don't even know its official name. It's the Kichi something.
Let me see if I can find it on Google Maps. Officer, I have a
Dick muncher.
I have a shooting to report at the Kichizibi Watanabe.
No, they don't even call it that. They call it the KZM.
Oh, they don't even call
Just
it
like
the
they
full
call it the
name.
TMU. They don't call it by its name.
They don't even call it by its name. Where is
We
it?
just abbreviate everything because we're fucking lazy.
I'm trying to find it. This just says Queensway.
Instead of Dundas, it's the TMU,
No,
which is unnecessary.
Kichizibi
McCann,
McCann.
which sounds like a nut.
Oh my God. Who does that actually serve? Could you imagine feeling so guilty about like being white that you approve of this? That's crazy. That's a crazy amount of guilt. I could never.
Okay,
I could never.
I was gonna say
I
something.
could never.
If
What?
you're
No,
if
say
you're
it.
feeling
Say
that
it.
guilty about being white,
Say it.
just jump off a bridge. Just fucking off yourself. Like, if you're that mad about being white because you're white, just kill yourself. Like,
Made yourself.
don't make it my
made
problem with your Kibi ZB Minchi crap. All right, like, it's the Sir John A. McDonald Parkway. That's what it was always called.
That's right. That's right.
Every Sunday they lock it down so that you can cycle along it. Okay, I'm not
That's
cycling along the ZB Gibi Minchi fucking freeway. Like, I will gonna call it that for the rest of my life. It's never gonna be the Kichi Z. It's Kichi.
Yeah, it's Kichizibi, dude. Yeah.
Kichi ZB Minchi. Oh, I can't even remember what I call it now.
Dude, I can't. I can't. Hello, 911. I'd like to
I'm having a heart attack.
I'd like to report an incident.
I'd like to report a murder.
And they correct you on the line.
Yeah, I'm on the Sir John A. McDonald Parkway. You're where, sir? I don't see that on the map.
Actually, wait, what was it called?
It was called the Sir John A. McDonald Parkway.
Sir John A. McDonald Parkway. Yeah, if I look it up, it directly routes me to the Kichizibi McCann. Yeah.
Yep. Report a problem on the left-hand screen there. It says report a problem on the Kichizibi McCann. Yeah, it's not called the Sir John A. McDonald anymore.
Wait, where does it say report a problem?
Just
Oh,
to the left of your cursor.
okay. Let me see. Okay, hold on. I don't want to
report a problem. Yeah, it's not called the Sir John A. McDonald anymore.
I gotta sign in to do it. I'm not doing that.
That's how they get you.
Well, I don't want to dox myself. I don't mind signing.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You put a report in like that, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, we're gonna have to watch this guy."
Well, it doesn't matter because if the liberals get their way, they're gonna pass that Bill C3 or C9 or whatever, where it's like any content creator that's found to be offensive in any way is now. I mean, they're essentially bringing in like UK laws here, so I might have to change some things about this podcast. I'm never going to change the tone or what we talk about, but certain security measures to make sure that they can't necessarily find me all that easily. Because that's crazy. I'm not abiding by that. I'm not going to be censoring myself. Dude, the level of censorship on like just Instagram reels and whatnot is so stupid. Like people talking about unaliving. What are some of the other ones? Unaliving yourself, or
Oh, the whole
grape?
YouTube shtick on not saying dead or whatnot.
Yeah, well, not
The
just YouTube.
unalived.
Yeah, not just that, but like any one of these Any one of these graped is another one that I've heard.
Oh yeah. Like we
Oh,
don't know
that's
what you're talking about.
well, that's actually that reminds me. Burnt Peanut was doing. He did an interview recently on a podcast, and he's like, the reason he calls it silly juice is because when he started streaming on TikTok, he got his account banned like 40 times, and over time he just adopted some of these words. So instead of saying that he was getting another drink, he would have to say silly juice because at least that would like bypass the censors.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm not playing by those fucking rules, man. I got a nice drink of vodka and fucking
You,
fruit
you,
punch here. Okay,
you
I'm not.
can't talk about the homeless. You can only talk about the unhoused.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking
That's
stupid.
Orwellian, dude. That's Orwellian. Because the words that we use actually shapes our reality around us, and if we reject those words, then you're rejecting that reality. And I refuse to live like that. Fuck you, dude. I'm not doing that shit. Are you serious? Fuck off.
Look, I can respect the cows not living in reality. I would prefer to live in reality.
Oh yeah, the cows can fucking. I mean, look, as long as I get my steak and my milk and all and my
The
eggs.
cows can be fucking over there brain dead as long as they're producing milk.
No, I look. All
Like,
jokes aside,
as long as
obviously
we
feel
keep
for
them on
them.
life support and they're still pumping out that white gold, let's go.
You ever see that Family Guy bit of how veal is made?
I can only imagine.
Let me. I'm gonna have to mute the audio, but I can at least show the video. Yeah, here it is.
Veal farms.
Oh my god.
Whoops.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's crazy. But no, I'm not playing with these fucking censorship rules. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Get the fuck out of here. We don't live in China. Fuck off. I'm not doing that. I don't care if it gets me less views. It's fine. I'll deal with that. Oh man, what a weird like what a weird time to be alive. Did you see that video of that veteran talking about like what it's like to live in this day and age and how he feels
Yeah.
about his sacrifice?
Yes, I did.
Dude, that was. I mean, look, all jokes and everything aside, that was actually heartbreaking. That because
Yeah.
I'm like I've had that thought before. I'm like I don't know if these people would actually feel all that good about the sacrifice they made just to come back and see the world as it is. But that guy echoed it, and then the hosts were trying to like downplay it because as is their job. Like I understand they're not looking for a controversial moment. They just wanted to invite a war veteran and have a sweet moment on TV. I get it. I understand it. But like how they were trying to like deflect from it, it was just so enraging. I was like, dude, like you. This is literally the guy that said he put his life down on the line so you can have these freedoms and you're having all this grand ceremony for him today and he's telling you that it wasn't worth it. Maybe you should actually hear him out on this one. Maybe that's actually like that's the canary in the coal mine.
Hmm.
If there was ever a signal on where our nation is headed, maybe the veterans that actually laid down their lives and saw their brothers die beside them, maybe that's actually something worth paying attention to. Yeah, they give me some pause on Veterans Day, or on Remembrance Day rather, that I mean, I knew that was going to be essentially what he said because of the way that the UK is headed, but just to hear him say that on the air, that was something else.
Yeah, it was extremely sobering for sure. I mean, I had my speculations about that kind of,
Their attitudes to it, yeah.
yeah, but to hear it be said was yeah, like you said, it was heartbreaking. It's
Like I saw 1917 recently, and most of the World War One vets have died for the most part.
Mhm.
Um, but anytime I see like a movie about the First World War, especially just how brutal it was, it's just it's so beyond my pale of understanding anything that I don't know. It's just it's a whole different conflict altogether. how insane that was to like live in the trenches. And 1917 did a really good job of it. Like all the costumes, the set design, everything about it was an amazing movie. I can't believe it took me this long to watch it, but yeah, when I had saw it, when I had seen it, it was yeah, sobering to say the least. Because I was like, holy shit, those like they went through some shit, and that's an understatement. Like I don't know what the hell I'm talking about when I say that. There's no way that I could ever understand in 10 lifetimes what it takes to do that and to survive.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that guy was like lucid and well put enough together that like I mean if he was like 10 or 20 years younger, he would have been yelling at the top of his lungs on that show. Like just completely having like a mask off moment. Just telling them that, but he's in his old age, so I guess like he must have like prepped that statement or whatever beforehand. And I hope he's not just like living in an old folks home. I hope he's got family that's taking care of him because yeah, it's nuts having to do that for your country, for the world in that regard, and to see it all just go to shit. Like, yeah. And now they get to live in a world where they get driven on the Kichizibi Parkway. they, they,
Yeah.
they get corrected when they call them homeless. And
Yippee.
they can't say murder, they have to say unalive.
They can't even call a boy him.
Or anyone that's sexually ambiguous, yeah. Now, it's honestly, it's also kind of why I'm looking forward to like the AI takeover because it's going to be a full mask off moment. Like we're not going to be able to have any kind of sensitivity when it comes to that. Nothing is going to be off limits. Nothing is going to be safe. There's not going to be any sacred cows anymore. Social media will be a thing of the past. All these censors and all these issues around this stuff, it's not going to matter. It's
When
going to be a free for
Skynet
all.
sorts us, there's going to be two doors. One of them is going to be blue, and one of them is going to be pink.
Yeah. But no, like even avoiding that doom scenario, it's like it's gonna be impossible to hide from reality anymore. You know, because all these things that we've been doing is playing dress up, playing make believe. You know, like I saw oh my god, there was a conference at a university recently where they invited an OnlyFans artist to speak to students, and it was this like feminist class or whatever, and they're like
I'm sorry,
having this
OnlyFans artist?
well performer whatever
Is
title
that
you
like
want to
is
give
that like
it.
what they titled the guy who makes my sandwiches Subway? They call them like sandwich artist.
Yeah, basically.
OnlyFans
OnlyFans
artist.
creator.
Fuck off.
OnlyFans creator. Um, in other words, somebody that's loose with their
That's like saying
sexual
I'm a
morality.
I'm a content creator. You're a fucking porn star.
Yeah,
Like,
just own it. Just
seriously,
own it.
I'm a
Yeah.
content creator.
So they invited her to a conference and to speak and all that, and it just the whole thing is like, I mean, she had fans like lining up for her at the end of it, and
Oh no.
I just looked at that and I was like, that I can't wait for that to not matter anymore. I can't wait for that to just not be a thing anymore because it's not gonna it's not gonna be it's not sustainable. You know, like the OnlyFans bubble like popped a while ago, but I don't know how people are still making money on that. I guess there's just enough lonely men to keep it up, but eventually like that's just not gonna be a viable thing. You can't just whore yourself out on the internet anymore because it's not going to matter. The AI robots are they're just going to be so much better at sex. They're going to be so much better at everything that like why would I bother paying Belle Delphine when I can pay monthly installments for a sex bot that looks like Belle Delphine? Like why would I bother with that? You know, like I can put it on layaway. You
and then,
know?
and then next month I can trade her out for a different model.
Yeah. You know, like at least that's gonna get wiped out. and just all these like different ways that we have
I
of.
don't know if that's better.
I mean, it's probably not. I don't know. I don't know if it is better.
I
I don't even
mean,
know if better is the word for
yeah,
it.
I get the dilemma.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if better is the word for it, but like one way or another, I can't wait for these like all of these systems and ideas that we've created to make reality more like palpable, like the word unaliving, the unhoused, the Kichi-ZB bullshit, like all that. It's just as soon as AI comes online, they're gonna be like, yeah, we're not fucking with that.
They're gonna be that. They're gonna be like, that's road D11 now.
Yeah, yeah. There's D12, D13. At least you know what? I would respect that more than I would like like it sucks that like we lose that cultural heritage and that history and all that. Okay, sure, but like at least they're efficient about it. At least like it actually like it has a there's a purpose that it serves. Like
Mhm.
how New York is spread out in all those grids. It's like okay, well, there's a reason why all that is called that. I don't know.
Oh
I'm just
yeah,
rambling at this point.
31st Street.
Yeah, all that. But we are at the second hour. Did you want to say anything before we call it about Kichi
Um,
ZB? Any more opinions on
it's
the
great to be
unhoused?
back. Fuck the Kiji ZB Minchi.
Uh,
Long live Dundas Station.
long live Dundas. Long live Dundas. There's before we end it, there's a movement that's popping off right now. They're making a bunch of like reels and whatnot, and they do have people that are going out and putting up posters and flyers, and they might have some long-term appeal that could actually go somewhere positive. I'm just trying to find their page right now on Instagram because it kind of struck me as the first iteration of like the Canada First movement. Let me just see if I can. Oh yeah, it's called the Dominion Society of Canada. So they're a movement that talks about like we need to bring back Canadian values, we need to bring back Canadian history and heritage and all that. And I haven't made my mind up about it, but they are among the few that are talking about remigration, about getting a ton of these immigrants out of here and to export them back to the countries where they came from. Which I don't know if they're arguing doing that at the end of a barrel. I don't know if they're doing it voluntarily. Um, But here it says, yeah, mass immigration is the most destructive policy ever imposed on Canadian people. It has eroded our sovereignty, diluted our culture, and crippled our sense of identity and community as a nation. It's devastated our education and healthcare systems, depressed wages in the workforce, and made housing completely unaffordable, especially for young Canadians. Government action created these conditions, and reactionary government action can take them away just as quickly. Dominion Society will collectivize courageous Canadian nationalists to build an organized electorate and build the political will in our nation to demand these changes be made. Remigration is the return of foreigners to their respective homelands. It involves robust public policy tools that will create legal, economic, and cultural conditions to reverse the tide of mass immigration and demographic change in Canada. Now, whether that means like they go back 10, 20, 30 years and check who's actually a citizen and who immigrated here and became a citizen, I genuinely don't know how they're actually going to go about trying to implement any of these ideas. But they're among the few movements that I'm aware of right now that are actually trying to define what a Canadian is and and what it actually means to stick up for these values. So I'm interested to see what happens with this movement. I'm interested to see what they do with it. They've already been labeled as extremists and all that, as like obviously anybody that's center of left is going to be
Mm.
labeled an extremist these days. So that's I take that opinion with a grain of salt, but yeah, these guys are interesting. So we'll see what they come up with. But yeah, they have like they're going out and canvassing and putting up posters and whatnot. But a lot of their focus is on immigration naturally.
Yeah. Interesting.
Actually, speaking of which, let me pull up their Instagram. They had a really funny post I just saw.
Jeez. Ay, ay, ay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they have a bunch of different posts and whatnot. So who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen with Canada? But in any case, yeah, it's good to be back. Once again, as a reminder, I'm still banned on Twitter because of reasons. It's been almost a year now that this has happened, so that's great. But yeah, if you guys want to keep up with everything that's happening with the White Pill project, if you go to bio.link/whitepill, where we have a Telegram chat now, secure chat where the messages disappear after a week, where we are careful to not allow any screen caps or anything, for people can actually talk openly like we used to be able to, but now we actually require an encrypted chat app because that's just the world that we live in. So
Where we at?
that's where we're at. But yeah, check out bio.link/whitepill, and every Wednesday we'll be here from now on. A lot of stuff coming down the pipeline, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, thanks again, James, for taking the time to come on. It's always a pleasure.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys later.